Good morning.
Good morning.
I teach children, and I'm very loud. So I don't need a microphone, do I?
No.
Okay, good. Everybody in the back is okay? Excellent. I like to start my classes for children aged about 4 to 7 or 8 with a very loud hello. And I don't just do it to get up their energy, but I do it to help with their pronunciation. Japanese students have a hard time with the L sound. I also try to have, because it's a lot of fun, and the students like to use their voice, so this is how I start my classes with young children. Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you very much. Yay. As Bora said, who just introduced me, my name is Eric, and I have been teaching for about 20 years now. I think 20 years this November. And I have my own private English school. It opened in 2001. We have about 200 students. We teach only children, right, from age 3 to age 12. So basically kindergarten and elementary school. And I've also taught adults, university, junior high school, and high school, but about 13 years with children. And children are my favorite, by far. Everyone here is elementary or kindergarten school age teacher? Great, you came to the right presentation. All right, now something about me you may not know is that I'm married. No, just I'm not finished yet. I have a daughter, but my wife and daughter do not live with me now. They live in the United States, where I was born. I was born in Michigan. Anybody know Michigan? Yeah. Very cold, Great Lakes, right? So my wife and daughter moved there, so my daughter could get to know her American family. Because she grew up in Japan for about 11 years. And I'm lonely. I've been by myself since January. But luckily, we're teachers, we have a community, right? You have coworkers, or you come to conferences, and we meet teachers. Teachers are wonderful people. We really are good people, right? Yeah, we're good people because we think about other people first. Which is funny because actually my family, my father is a teacher. He's a university professor. My sister is a high school English teacher. My aunt and uncle are, well, my aunt is an elementary school teacher. My uncle is a university math professor. My other cousin, Catherine, is a high school. Basically, I have a family of teachers. So I wanted my daughter to know the nice people in my family. So anyways, because I'm lonely, this is me talking with my daughter, Selena, on FaceTime. She's 12 years old, and yeah, she's cute. So I talk with her every day. I talked with her this morning in my hotel room. But the good news is I have a group of really wonderful people that I work with. And I wanted to show you this slide because it's very important to today. This is my classroom. You notice there's no desks and no chairs. We run children only, so we use these benches to sit on and also as tables. But this is my staff and some of my students. There are 4 important people here. One is Kumi. I met Kumi in 1992. We went to the same university. She was an exchange student, and when I came to Japan as a student, I stayed with her family. Now she's a teacher at my school. Full circle, right? This lady here, her name is Christine Graff. If you look at your book, you'll see the second name is Christine. Christine did all of the illustrations in books 1 through 4. And she also did the layout. So she designed the layout for the book. She's got a good eye for children. She's also a teacher, by the way. She's been teaching for 9 years. And this is Daniel Olson. He's from England, and he wrote the stories in the book. He's a creative writer and a teacher. And this little boy here, his name is Yuto. Say hi, Yuto. Yuto is going to read a story for you later. And Yuto is 6 years old here, but 7 years old in Western counting in Japan. And he's been studying at my school for about 3 years. And he used this book for the first time last year. So he's going to read a story for you later. Okay? All right. Who is this guy?
Patrick Jackson.
Patrick Jackson.
Yeah.
He wrote Everybody Up? So I also have, I'm lonely, but I have good author friends who come over and jump on me like a horse. Now, do you know Patrick Jackson? He's a big man. He's like 100 kilograms. That hurt. I mean, I'm smiling, but I'm in pain, right? I'm also very lucky because I give a lot of presentations. I think now I've given over 50. And I've given them in Japan and Indonesia and now Korea. This was a great moment for me. I was in Indonesia and my daughter was missing me. And it's kind of a joke. My wife and daughter say, "Are you really working? Did you really go to Indonesia?" Because they were there. Yes, I really went to Indonesia. So they asked me to take a picture. So this is a picture of a presentation I gave in Indonesia, and I really want to do that again. Can I take a picture of everybody? All right, so Bora, can you come up here? And if everybody sits down, it's boring. So I really want everyone, if you can, it's very tight today. But if you can, I want you to stand up and put your hands up in the air and say, "Hello, Selena." Okay. That's my daughter's name. Go, "Hello, Selena." And when you say Selena, there's an E, right? So say, "Hello, Selena." Okay, here we go. You ready? All right. Just a minute. And then after this, we'll get started, I promise. We have a long time today, so. All right, everyone stand up, please. Put your hands way up high in the air. And everyone, put your hands up high, and say, "Hello, Selena." 1, 2. Hello, Selena. Okay? All right, great. Thank you, everyone. I will send that to her after the presentation with the free Wi-Fi in Korea. I love this country. It's everywhere, right? It's really, really nice. All right. Today's topic. There's 2 topics I'll talk about today. The first is about phonics. What is it? How do you teach it? Why is it important? Okay, one more time. Talk about phonics. What is phonics? How do you teach it? And why is it important? Or how can phonics help you? I think many of you know the word, but maybe it's difficult sometimes to teach it, or it's a struggle. Why do I do this? And so I'll talk about that. And the second question I'll answer is, how can this book, Think, Read, Write, Phonics, help you make it a little easier and a little more fun? Sound good? Yeah. All right. So the first question I'm going to ask you, now you are students. The first half of the presentation, you are students. Okay? What is phonics? So raise your hand, come on. Be a good little girl or boy. What is phonics? Sounds of letters. I'll tell you a hint, by the way. Letters don't have sounds. Did you know that? Sounds have letters. So think about that for a minute. I'll explain it. What is phonics? Someone help me. Yeah. Yeah. She's got the right place, right? Matching, she said matching. What's another word for matching? Relationship between, there's another word. Starts with the C.
Consonant vowel.
Consonant. That starts with a C. It starts with a C. Connection. Thank you. Can you read that real quickly? Think about that for a minute. The English language and the Korean language didn't start with writing. It started with speaking, right? Many, many years ago, there were people living somewhere, and they were looking at the sun, right? And then different people around the world developed different ways to say the word sun. What is sun in Korean? What? One more time? Hey. Hey now, hey now. That like hey. No? What is it? Hey. Okay. All right. So different countries, different languages developed differently in different areas. And then one day, I don't know when, somebody said, you know, we should write this down. We should like come up with a symbol to write our language down. Now some languages developed pictures for their words. I think Chinese is more like that. And other languages created something which represents the sound. English is one of those languages. English borrowed, actually, letters from the Roman alphabet to represent the sounds of English. So, you got that? So when you study phonics, it's basically the connection of the sounds in the English language to the 26 letters of the alphabet. That's a study of phonics. And there's two really important concepts, two important words I want to point out to you today. Can you read that first one right here? Phoneme. Phoneme. And the next one? Grapheme. Now, we probably know phoneme. We know it as like telephone. So phone means sound. Okay? And graph you might know from graphic design, which means illustration or picture. So when we talk about a phoneme, this is an important concept to understand. One phoneme is one sound. English has how many phonemes? Does anybody know? 26. It's 26 letters, not 26 sounds. How many sounds does the English language? How many phonemes does the English language have? About 90? Not quite that many. So actually, it's a little easier than that, which is good. If there were 90, it'd be crazy. There's about 40-something, exactly. That's the best answer I've heard. Because depending on the country, if you live in Australia, England, or New Zealand, or America, or Canada, it's a different answer. From 41 to 44. I think I saw 45 once. That was probably Australia or something. Kidding. So basically, there are 40-something sounds in the English language. Okay? And we use graphemes to represent those sounds, basically. So this is important here. One grapheme is one letter, or two letters, or three letters, which represents only one sound. Very important point. So for example, black, like BL, would not be considered a grapheme because it's two sounds. It's B and O. So it's two sounds. So one grapheme could be two letters or three letters or four letters equals one sound. That's the basic focus of phonics when students read. So if we read that again, can you read that, please? Phonics is basically the connection between the sounds, the phonemes of English, and the graphemes or letters of English. You understand that concept? Okay. So this is an important concept because English started from sounds to text. That's how it started. So understanding phonics can help students to read just with that basic information. All right, let's move along. Phonics study. We teach in what type of environment? A native environment? What? EFL, right? And EFL, of course, English is a foreign language. ESL would be English as a second language. We would study ESL where? In the U.S., or if you were to go to the U.S. or Canada or somewhere, you would study ESL. But you're studying in Korea, or your students are, where people speak Korean. So that's an EFL environment. In an EFL environment, and usually ESL, we only study really 2 levels of phonics. Okay? And there are levels of phonics. There's about 4. But the first level of phonics is basically the connections between the sounds of the language and the alphabet. A says apple, right? That common type of connection. And this level 2 phonics would be something a little bit more difficult to understand. We just talked about graphemes. So a digraph or a trigraph. Give me an example of a digraph. Di means 2, by the way. What? Well, ST, remember a grapheme represents 1 sound. So st would actually be 2 sounds. St. So the grapheme for s is S, and the grapheme for t is T. That's called a consonant blend. It's a little different than a digraph. What somebody said? CH. Yes, CH is a good example. What else? SH, good. And think about that because CH equals what sound? Sh. It's 1 sound. CH equals what sound? Ch. Except in chef, which is because it's a French word, which is a level 4 phonics instruction. We're not going to talk about that. So basically 2 letters which equal 1 sound is a digraph. And how about a trigraph? What's a trigraph? Well, yeah. IGH, right? IGH, like night. You have the word night has 3 sounds. You have n, I, t. And the I sound, the middle sound, is IGH. That's a trigraph, okay? There aren't many trigraphs, by the way. There's also a quadgraph. OUGH, though. But we don't usually teach those. Kids figure them out. Anyways. And also something called diphthongs. What is a diphthong? That's a hard word to say, by the way. It's an F sound here. Can you say diphthong? Diphthong. Good. What is a diphthong? Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Basically, a diphthong is a grapheme, a combination of letters, which represents 2 vowel sounds. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. It's related to syllables. Like think of the word boil, like water boils, right? Boil has how many syllables? Boil. 1. It's 1 syllable. But b, oi, o. It sounds like OE, but that's because it's a diphthong. There's 2 vowel sounds connected. Okay? All right. So we'll talk a little bit about vowel sounds right now. The first vowel sound is what I think you know is a short vowel. What are the short vowels of English? A. So what's the short E would be what? What's a short E sound? E, short I sound. I, short O sound. A, short U sound. Is the most common vowel sound, by the way, because it's a schwa, like the. It's the easiest sound to make. Then we have something called a long vowel sound. What would be examples? What's a long A sound? Long E sound? Basically, the long sound is the letter name, by the way. What's a long I sound? Long O? Long U? U or? Ooh, that's a trick question. Okay, good. And then we have diphthongs, which is a combination. A combination of two sounds, two vowel sounds together. You've got OY, you've got OI. Also some difficult to understand, like AR. Is R a vowel? It's actually called a semi-vowel. So L's and R's are sometimes vowels. Think of the word purple. The first sound is P, the second sound is the next sound is P, and the last sound is O. There's no long or short vowel. It's just an R or L sound. So that's a little confusing. But and we also have consonant sounds. Consonant sounds. Look at the first two right there. What is what's? I'll just point to it. What's this sound right here generally? Very short, no sound after. Just say it with me. 1, 2. Good. What's the next one? D. Very short. One more time. D. I want you to say those two sounds back and forth. We're going to go t, d, t. Ready? 1, 2. D, t, d, t, d, t, d. Stop. Do you notice anything about that? What? Somebody said the mouth position, the tongue or teeth or throat position is the same. What's the difference? Voiced, yeah. Voiced or unvoiced. So I like to take my fingers like this and put them right here. And just go, Can you feel that? Can you feel? Now this is, T and D is difficult because it's very short. But Z and S are much easier. So I want you to go, and just go like this. Ready? 1, 2. Can you feel it? Yeah. But the mouth is exactly the same. So one thing we did in the book is we said, okay, what kind of sounds are there in English? Well, we have T and D, which would be called a plosive sound, where all of the air goes, so you have a t or a d. It comes out at one time. Or you have other sounds such as Z and S, which is called a fricative. Sounds like v, z, s. Where the air comes out, it doesn't stop, but you change it somehow. You change the air somehow. So zzz, right? Good. And then, of course, L and R, which is O and It's a looser type of a sound, right? And we also have consonant blends. So consonant blends, I believe you said earlier, right? A consonant blend is not, it's actually two sounds together, which is sometimes hard to say, right? So a lot of times we put it in phonics programs because it's difficult for kids. They have a hard time blending these sounds together. They know, I think you said st before. They know s, they know t, but saying it together can be a challenge for young learners. So right? It can be hard. Being based in Japan, the Japanese cannot say F, V, L, R. I mean, it's terrible, right? Can't say TH, and so it's very difficult for flower would be furawa. Right? So phonics is particularly important, I think, in some languages. And then, so we have BL, GR, and ST there. Those are just two consonant sounds put together. We okay so far? Good. What's a phoneme? One sound in English. What's a grapheme? One or two or three or four letters, which represents one phoneme. Okay, good. Let's continue on. Very quickly, last slide before the fun starts. Grapheme types, I just asked you. We have a monograph, which is when one letter represents a sound. Digraph, 2, trigraph, 3. And also double letters. You like apple? Why are there 2 P's? Right? So there's PP, but it represents one sound, which is P. And that's it. Okay. When you think about phonics, when you think about your students, you know, some of you teach 5-year-olds, some of you teach 7-year-olds, some of you teach 9-year-olds. I had a wonderful question over, I think you asked me, but it's so hard to get them to read. You know why? Because when they look at that page, all they see are symbols. They have no connection whatsoever. They don't get, they look at like CAT and it just looks like squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Right? They have no connection between the sounds and the letters of the language. So, they might know the word cat, but if they don't know what sounds are in the word cat, like k, at, and they don't know the connection between the sounds and the letters, the only way they can read is through sight words. That takes a long time. It takes a long time, it's difficult, and usually the human brain doesn't develop the ability to read by sight until about between ages 9 and 11. So you start noticing maybe your 9-year-olds or 10-year-olds reading by sight fairly quickly. That's about the age the brain makes the connections. Okay? Before that is where phonics is important. So we have basically 3 steps in the EFL environment. The first one is the students need to develop a very strong vocabulary. This is my opinion at least. It helps. It helps, right? If they read at cat, what's that? They don't know what a cat is. They're asking, why am I reading? The only reason we read is to understand. We want to understand more. So we read. Otherwise, it's just work. If you read a story to a child and they don't understand, oh, yeah, whatever. Right? So reading is the same. So we want them to understand what they're reading right away, if possible. And that's one of the goals of the book, by the way. It's one of the things we tried to do. So give them a real strong vocabulary base, or pattern base, or some question and answers, something like that. Reading storybooks helps, listening to music helps, flashcards, stuff like that. Then something called phonemic awareness. We talked about phoneme. What's phonemic awareness? Anybody? Have you heard this word? Yeah, so what is it? I've heard it, but I'm not sure what it is. What is it? What is it?
Know the sound.
Yeah. Basically, phonemic awareness is the ability of you or a child to hear the sounds in the language and produce the sounds in the language. Only ears and mouth. No text. So if I say to you, I say d, ah, g. What is it? Dog. If I say st, up, stop, go. Right? Yeah, so you have phonemic awareness. You can do it. Can your students? Maybe, but it's a skill. And it's actually, that's level 1. There's 2 kind of levels to this. I'll go back to the, where did it go? Oh, maybe I don't have it here. I thought I had it in there. Anyways, phonemic awareness, there's you have to be able to both blend the sounds together and separate them. So if I say, what are the sounds in the word cat? You'd say, k, at. There's 2 skills. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then the last step, really, before reading, is phonics instruction. I found phonics instruction in my environment to be from about age 5 or 6 to about age 8 in the Western age scale. So I don't know, Korea, maybe age 9 is the best time to do that. And that's true with native speakers too, by the way, not just EFL. It basically children develop at about the same level, okay? And finally, there's sight words. What's a sight word? Look, read. Okay, there's 2 types of sight words. One are words that you can't read with phonics. If I put up T-H-E, what word is that? the. But to students who know level 1 phonics, it's te. And students who know level 2 phonics, it's the. Or I put up O-N-E. What word is that? One. But if I put it up to a student learning phonics, it's ane. Ane. Ane, toi, te, right? So some words you just have to learn. Some words you just have to learn. And here's a secret, by the way. Almost every word you know is a sight word now. It becomes sight words. So why phonics? Phonics just makes it faster. It helps you early on. So that's what we're trying to do. All right, so first thing I want to talk about with, this is the fun part, by the way. We're going to have some fun. Building blocks of language is basically vocabulary. Okay, these are some of my students at my school. This is Honoka. This is an old picture. Hiroto Kaise Honoka, and I don't remember her name. I think it's Miho, but I'm not sure. And the concept of the building blocks, this is actually an activity we did where they put down the block and they would say apple or cat or whatever, and they build up to something bigger than that. So if we look at classroom vocabulary, the words that you want your students to learn, we want that vocabulary to be flexible. If I teach my students 10 animals, can they make a sentence? Hi, panda, bear, elephant, pig. Right? If I teach them maybe the numbers, lots of adjectives, right? Or numbers are adjectives, and they can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Big, tall, fast. But they need a combination, is the point. They need a combination. So one of the things we tried to do with Think, Read, Write Phonics, and if you look in the book, you'll notice, we use nouns, we use verbs, we use adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, a lot of different types of words so that they would be very flexible, so they could start to be creative. Because do you like it when students are creative? Do your students make stories at all or no? Right? These kids like crazy stories, right? So there's a pig, right? And the pig went to the store. We're looking like, huh? But the kids are in their own world. Kids like that, right? So we try to develop a very flexible vocabulary with the book. And we also tried to make sure the words were interesting. Have you ever looked at a book and said, why did they use that word? Right? Maybe a word that the kids are not going to use very much or don't want to use it. I have the belief that when you're teaching a foreign language, students are in L1, they're in Korean in Korea, and anytime a new word comes in, there's a filter, right? Is this word necessary for me? It might be a 5-year-old filter or a 7-year-old filter, but there's a filter. And if they think it's an important word, they're going to remember it probably. If they don't think it's an important word, they probably won't remember it. I think of colors as the best example. When students learn colors, what colors do they always forget? A lot of times my students forget brown, gray, right? Yeah. But they always remember red and yellow and blue and green and pink. Oh, the girls remember pink. Or purple. That's easy. So you understand what I'm saying is vocabulary selection is very important for children. If you're teaching them patterns that they're not going to use, they're not going to remember it. Or they don't want to remember it. So if you're going to make a textbook, try to make words that will connect your students to the language of English. It's called building trust. So if I teach a boy the word kick, he's going to remember it. If I teach jump, they're going to remember it. If I teach stinky, they're going to remember it. Trust me. So these are words that children remember, and when they learn, they see the book, oh my God, that's a cool word. So we put some words in the book to connect the children to the language. And that was really important to me as a teacher. I love teaching words like stinky because they see the underpants and the socks and they're like, eh? Stinky! Ah! And they laugh and everyone laughs and they remember and they say, you're a stinky teacher. You know. Anyways. All right, this is the anchor chant or the anchor spread. An anchor word is basically a word which connects a sound in the language to a word. So for example, apple, boy, car. This is the base of the book. This is what you can use to help students remember the sounds. Let's, you can open up your book to page 8. And let's see how good of students you are. How well do you know? What's the first picture? Next. Boy.
car, down, elephant, fly, girl, hug, eat, jump, kiss, listen.
What? Loud. Very good. Loud. Let's get the rhythm again. More loud. Wait. 1, 2. Moon. No. Quiet. Run. Try to maintain a challenge to keep you awake, right? All right. I always make this joke. If you teach loud, you have to teach quiet. One rule about teaching children, if you get them excited, you better know how to bring them down. Classic teaching rule. If you get the kids excited, then learn how to bring them down. Loud, quiet. Good. All right, so what I would like to do quickly with this is do the first activity. And that is something what I call memory gestures. There's nothing in the book. When you teach songs, do you use gestures?
Yes.
Yeah? What's a famous song that uses gestures? Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees. I like to go head and shoulders, knees and bum, knees and bum. Kids like that, right? Yeah. So what we try to do, we try to attach meaning to vocabulary with some type of gesture. We have two choices. We can teach the students, which is fine, or they can teach us, which is better, if possible, if you have enough class time. I know it's difficult sometimes. So, show me the gesture for, your gesture for apple. Apple. This? You're the apple of my eye. Come on, show me a gesture for apple. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Show me a gesture for boy. Boy. How about this? Right? Right? Show me a gesture for girl. Yeah. The kids can have a lot of fun with this, especially younger children. So when I use this book, the first thing I do, I show them the cover, I get them interested, I tell them, when you use this book, it'll help you learn how to read. I give it to them, and we open up to this page, and we're looking at it, and then I say, hey, what's a gesture for apple? And they start to make their own. So can I ask you to do that? Yeah. So what I'd like to do is ask you by rows, well, is to kind of, if you can, just turn around a little bit and make like teams of 4. We're going to use these teams later. So about 4 or 6 people. And just come up with gestures for all of this vocabulary. And here's the kicker. Here's the important part. You have only 3 minutes. This is fast. We got no time. We're moving. So think, but the important thing also, you are children. You're not teachers now. Don't think like a teacher. Don't be embarrassed. Think like the children. You set it up in the classroom. I want you, right, to make a gesture. What's apple? Apple. Yeah. What's boy? Good. Can you do the other ones? Yeah? You getting the teams ready? You got 3 minutes. You put the timer on the wall and you're like, go. No, oh, and they're doing all the gestures really quick. I want you to feel that energy. The same energy as the students. All right, so turn around quickly. Let's make our groups. Find somebody. You have 3 minutes to make gestures for everything. Go. Good. Maybe these tables right here. Turn around. These tables right here. This row and this row. This row here. 5. Good. Girl. Hug. Good. In. Good. Wow, this one team's already on jump. Hurry up. Hug. Girl. Oh, girl is good. That's good. Yeah. I'm going to use you. Two more minutes. Hug. Hello. I think there's an open, maybe open seat over there. No? Yeah. Hi. 1 more minute. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quiet. Who finished? Yay. All right, let me see very quickly. Show me car. Good. Show me down. Good. Yesterday I had someone going like this, down. Me? All right, show me panda.
I can do watermelon.
Watermelon. Okay, watermelon. Go. It's not a choice. Anybody got panda? Panda got. I tell this story a lot, but my favorite is one of my boys went to the zoo on the weekend. He came back and I was introducing the book and I said we're doing panda and he's like, because he's like, well, panda sit, eat. Oh. Nice, right? Yeah, there was another funny one in here that I had one of the kids do. I don't remember what it was right now. Yeah, anyways. What, moon? What's moon? Oh, look at that. She's like this. And this was a good, we had a good girl over here. What was your girl? Yeah, she's like this. That was a nice little girl, right? Yeah, good. A boy could be like this, right? A gentleman, yeah, that's good, yeah. All right, I want to do an activity with you on the next one, which is the first chant in the book. It's a video and a chant, and it's pretty simple, but I want you to do the gestures with the chant. Sitting down is okay, don't stand up. Like, I don't want to stand up. I'm shy. You're teachers, you're not shy, trust me. All right, so just do the gestures together with your group as you listen to the chant. Okay, we're not going to finish the whole thing because it's a bit long, so here we go. Here we go. Apple. Apple. Boy.
Boy.
Good.
C. Car.
Crazy driver. Down.
Five. G. Girl.
G. Girl. H. Hug. I like to stop the video at this point and go to the kids, hug, and they're like, no! Same with teachers usually. All right, the next thing, this is something that Elf Learning, that my company, one thing we try to do is to challenge students. Our tagline is challenge, inspire, learn with a smile. It's that process that children go through when they look at something and they get it. We're always trying to create that feeling in our students, right? We can just teach them, but if we can give them a puzzle or a question and they're like, and they figure it out, they love that. And they want more. Not because we're teaching them, but because they are discovering. They're learning by themselves. So look at this, look at page 8 again. And this is a puzzle, actually. This is a puzzle. Can you find the puzzle in the, you find it? Page 8. Page 8 is a puzzle. Look at the 26 vocabulary. Do you see any connections between the words? Okay, there's some are colors maybe. I see a boy. What else do you see? A girl. I see a car. What do you see? See a van. There are 13 pairs in this anchor chant. I'd like you to, with the people next to you, see if you can find all of those pairs in 1 minute. Go. That's what I do with my students to get them to listen. All right, so if I say apple, you say? Watermelon. Watermelon. If I say boy, you say? Bird. If I say up, you say? Down. Moon. Sun. Panda. Elephant. Car. Ben. I'm going to cheat. Hug. Kiss. Good. And it's interesting, the connections, by the way. There's different connections. Some of them are opposite, right? But some of them are just the same type of a category, like an action, all right? Here, I'll test you now. 5. 6. 5, 10, 5, 6. 0. 10. 0 and 10 both have a 0. And that's based on symbols. 5 and 6 are sequential. They're in order. Yeah. That's the trickiest one. That's the most difficult one. But you have opposites. You have, up and down, boy and girl. You have, what's the connection between watermelon and apple? Their fruits or their food, right? How about run and jump? What's that? Their actions or verbs, right? So what I like to do is I use flashcards. Well, today's too crowded. I usually play games, but it's too crowded. So I put 26 flashcards on the floor and say, go. And they're like, huh? And I just pick up boy, and I look around. I know, but I'm looking at, and I go like apple, no. Jump, no. Oh, girl. Oh! Then it's a puzzle, and I just walk away and let them go. The flashcards are all included in the book as well, so you can print any size you want and laminate them for the classroom. All right. Moving right along, still on the topic of vocabulary. This is page 9 in your book. Let's make sure everybody understands all of the words. What's the first image? Apple, ant, cat, bag, elephant, egg, elf, bed, in, itchy, pig, pig. Up, under, jump, cup. Okay, good. So we can see different types of words in here. We can see jump, which is, of course, a verb. We can see plenty of nouns. We can see adjectives such as in, on, and under. We can see, prepositions, and then adjectives such as hot and big and itchy. So this vocabulary is quite flexible. I said one of my goals with writing the book was to make sure it was very flexible. And the images, we tried really hard. Everything's hand-drawn. So we tried really hard to make them interesting for children. And also for the teachers. Just in case you don't know, is it itch or itchy? You can read it down here to make sure you understand. Okay, that's more for the teacher because the students don't read yet. Now, what's interesting about this is something I call vocabulary base. You want to make sure that you have very, very clear chants. And the chants in the books start very, very clearly and simply, and then they gradually get more challenging. So within one unit or one page, starts out pretty clear and pretty easy. Then there's a little more of a challenge. Then there's a little more of a challenge. So we try to maintain a challenge in the book so the students don't get bored. Okay, and that's very important. So let's take this is an example of one chant.
Unit 1. Here we go. Apple. Apple. Ant. Ant. Cat. Cat. Bag. Bag.
And one thing you'll notice also is I left enough space here for the teacher to say too. So,
Elephant.
elephant,
Egg.
egg,
Egg.
Elf.
elf,
Elf.
Bed.
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 Sorry, that's a little jumpy right now. I don't know why. And then it basically points to the eye.
Go. In.
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 Good.
Itchy.
Itchy,
Itchy.
itchy.
Pig.
Pig,
Pig.
pig,
Big.
big,
Big.
big. By leaving space in this, essentially what you're doing, imagine the students, they're going to start reading, they're going to start learning about phonemes, but before that, they have to get the vocabulary down, work on meaning, work on pronunciation. So you need a very clear introduction, kind of a funky, the drums. It doesn't really get boring for the kids. It's a kind of a very bass type of thing. After I do this, what I like to do is I like to show the students that the vocabulary is useful. Imagine you put these these 6 flashcards on the floor. Okay? What are these 6 flashcards? What's the first one here? Big, bad, on, big, itchy, jump. You take 4 of them away and you only have this. What is that? Big pig. And I'll put big and pig on the floor or on the whiteboard with magnets. I say, what else is big? And they'll look here. What else is big? Good. And she said it right. Big. You use big and say big elephant. Good. Thank you. What else is big? Maybe. Big boy. Could be a big boy, right? Big what? Big van. Sure. Or it could be big, what? A big high. Oh, I miss my daughter. Big apple, maybe? Could be a big apple. It could be a big bed at the hotel or something. And then you say, okay, good job. Way to go, kids. How about this pig again? What's this? Itchy. So? Big, itchy pig. Can you see it? Now, what happens, what I've seen, is the kids go, big, itchy pig. And they're like, going, yeah. And they start to laugh. They start to imagine, oh, that's how language is put together. And we're introducing word order, adjectives before nouns. You got big pig, big itchy pig, 5 big itchy pigs. You can do many of these things. Then it becomes fun. Now it's something that's not far away. Now language is close, and I can make new language. What's that? Big itchy pig jump on bed. And the kids are like, and they're like jumping up and down, And usually the boys. But you can take this, and maybe later as they get older and they can read and write, you end up with the big itchy pig jumps on the bed. Take a rhythm. The big itchy pig jumps on the bed. The big itchy pig jumps on the bed. Then you change it. Instead of pig, Maybe you say what? Dog. 1, 2. The big itchy dog jumps on the bed. Maybe it's not big anymore. It's small. Small dog. 1, 2. The small itchy dog jumps on the bed. Maybe he's not jumping on a bed. Where is he jumping? A table. There's a table in here. So, right? 1, 2. What do we got? Small dog, right? 1, 2. The small itchy dog jumps on the table. Now imagine you do this and then say, hey kids, maybe you're teaching present continuous. You're doing ing in the course book. The big itchy pig is jumping on the bed. One more time, 1, 2. The big itchy pig is jumping on the bed. How about you're teaching past tense? The big itchy pig jumped on the bed. Was jumping on the bed. Is going to jump on the bed. Will jump on the bed. The point is, that's the language in between the key words. These are the key words. This is the vocabulary you're building. It's called building a corpus. A corpus is the vocabulary in a book or the vocabulary the students know. You want to build a flexible corpus, and that's one of the things we wanted to do with the book. All right. I started to talk about this just a little bit before. Phonemic awareness is the ability to hear and say the sounds of the language. Pictures 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. There are 2 skills generally with, I'm going to stand here and be like, ah. There are 2 basic skills. And I think this is really interesting. Okay, this is the teacher Eric now. I think this is so interesting because there's a connection to everything later. Blending is the ability to look at b, l, e, m, d, I, n, and hear those sounds. So if I say to you, e, l, e, f, e, n, t, what is it? Elephant. Right? If I say, k, o, r, I, a, Korea. Right? That is blending. Oral blending. Think of it like a process that comes in, and it's like a factory. It goes in the ear and out the mouth. Now imagine we have something called segmenting. Segmenting is where I say the word, it goes in, and it comes out in pieces. So if I say table, you go t, a, b, o. Those are the 4 sounds, 4 phonemes in the word table. Now think about this for a minute. This skill, developing this skill, is so important because, especially as teachers who are teaching in Korea where the students have testing and everything, blending ability is exactly the same skill as reading. I'll say that again. The ability to blend sounds for meaning or blend words, put words together for meaning, is exactly the same as reading. The only difference is one time it goes in the ear, t, a, b, o, table. The other time it comes in the eyes. They see the text, t, a, b, o, table, and they know what it means. Or on the table. Okay, on the table. It's the same skill. This is just a step before. So if the students have good phonemic awareness, reading is going to be much easier. Much, much easier for them later. And segmenting is essentially writing. Instead of table going t, a, b, o. Okay. Maybe there were cat is an easier word. Cat. And they're like, okay. K, t. Okay. And they can spell a word. Or maybe on the table, they hear on, they hear the, they hear table. Like, okay, on the table. And that's writing. Okay? So basically, this is so important because the same skills are used later in the higher developmental skills, which is reading and writing. So if we can do this with the book, which is what Think, Read, Write Phonics tries to do, then it's going to be easier later when they become older. So let's look at phoneme slap. This is something I can't do with my flashcards, please look at page 9 very quickly. Imagine your students in the classroom. Imagine all of these cards on the floor. Imagine it's on the table, or the floor rather, and the students are around, and you want to play a game. And you say to them, k, p, bang, slap, right? No. Don't do it that way, by the way. Have them raise their hand and say, I know, or I know the answer. Because what happens is when they slam the table, the other cards fly, heads, boom, like that. So I play the game, I know, or I know the answer, or I know Eric, right? So what did I just say? K, up. I know, yes. Cup, ding, 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 $1 million, very good. All right, let's do two more, elf. I know. Who said I know? I think you did. Elf, thank you very much. Dun, 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 dun. A free coffee. Wait, million free? Let's do one more. Oct, up, uts. I know. What? Octopus. Ding, 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 ding. A hug. No, thank you. That's basic phonemic slap, or phoneme slap. Sorry. If you want to make it difficult, this is difficult too, by the way, because just listen. Okay, let's try this. I need to open real quick. Okay, here we go. At. Yes. Is there a hat there?
Sorry. I just heard.
But that's good. But what you're doing, what? Hot? No. I said, I said hat. But there's no hat. So the kids can't put their hands up. I told you, you have to challenge them to think. Challenge, it's tricky, but what happens with the kids, oh, okay, I really have to listen carefully. Then it becomes a game and a challenge for them to hear the correct sounds. And sometimes kids will be like, I know, and no. They're like, no, put down. Because the other kids are helping each other. And that gets really fun. Now, this is a little difficult for teachers. You have to practice this skill. Okay, I've been doing it for many years, so I can take any word and break it into pieces. So you have to practice. But if you want a simple way to do it, go like this. Instead of saying hot, say pot. No. Or instead of hot, say hop. Just say the word with one phoneme changed. That works too. And it's a great way to have a lot of fun. I was told that in Korea, children have a difficult time with A and E. Good. So what's a difficult word for some maybe Korean children to understand the difference? Two words with the A-E difference? Pen and what? Pan. Excellent example. For Japan, it's A and U, cap and cup. Okay, it's very difficult for them to understand. So A and E, you could use that example. What was the example again? Pan and pen. So you put down two flashcards. You know, maybe one of them is a pan, the other is an elephant. And you say, pen. You're like, oh. Or you go, pen. Oh. Pan. Oh. Or I know. So you isolate the difficult phonemes for your students. Every country and every L1, every language is different. Okay? I know what it is in Japan fairly well. You know what it is in Korea. An Indian teacher might know in India. But just make sure, whatever you do, you highlight those differences. Okay? Okay? Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to finish up now, kind of walk you through the book quickly and show you how the book can kind of help you and how we designed a lot of the book around these goals. So we start out with, this is page 10 and 11, by the way. This is what we call a phoneme chant. Just practice the sound, and it introduces the letter, the grapheme, the shape. Remember, to children who are just coming in, this is simply a symbol. Maybe they've seen it, maybe they haven't. I don't know. Every child's different. To them, it looks like lines. They don't know, not the same as you. It looks strange to them, okay? For many of the students, especially young students. But you want them to say, okay, this symbol generally is like this sound. So we've got big A, little a, ah, 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 ah. Say it with me, 1, 2. Big A, little a, ah, 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 ah. All right? Have a listen to this. Do it with her, okay?
Big A, little a, ah, 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 ah.
Come on.
Big A, little a, ah, ah, ah,
Good.
ah, ah.
Students point here.
Big A, little a, ah, 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 ah.
Why are textbook CDs so boring? Right? Page 26, track 3. A day at the... So instead, I did all the recording for this, so I just tried to make it fun. So you'll see a lot of really fun stuff in here that is, just enjoyable. I think B is one of my favorites. Big B, little b, but. Next thing what we do is we focus on the vocabulary and we focus on making sure they understand where the sound is. You'll notice that in apple and ant, it's the first or initial sound, but in cat and bag, it's in the medial or middle sound. Later in the book, with consonants, we put it in the final or ending sound. Okay, we do that because phonemes and graphemes happen many places in words. This helps them to develop phonemic awareness, where is it, as well as graphemic awareness. This is a fun chant also. I want to see if you can do it. You're like, hey, I'm a teacher, of course I can do it. There's different ways to challenge students. One way is speed. So if you increase the speed or increase the tempo, it does make it more challenging. Let's see if you can do this.
Apple, ant, cat, bag, apple, ant, cat, bag, apple.
Oh, sorry, ant, cat, bag.
Cat, ant, apple, bag, cat, ant, apple. Good job.
Wow, there's 2 hands. Sorry about that. Yeah, so essentially what you have there is you have a listen, repeat, going this way, left to right. By the way, very important, that section and this section are all designed to like left to right reading. So English reads from left to the right. So that's an important point. Also, when you go this way and then all of a sudden it switches backwards, it goes, huh? It's like going toes, knees, shoulders, head, Huh? What happened? It's a little challenge that makes them think. And that's one of the, and then at double times, what happens is by unit 3 or 4, or like page 3 or 4, they're ready. All right? They get ready and they're like, they know it's coming. They know it's going to go backwards fast. And they're like, okay. And what was the order again? Bag, cat, ant, apple. Bag, cat, ant, apple. Yes! Okay? All right, going on ahead. This is called the rebus chant. Remember, reading a word is a collection of sounds or phonemes. But reading a phrase or a sentence or a paragraph is a collection of words or phrases or sentences or paragraphs, or it gets bigger. So what we try to do is we try to get the kids to blend the phoneme with the word, this time at the end, this time in the middle, and this time at the beginning. So it'll be like apple, ant, cat. One more time. Apple, ant, cat. Good. And I'll play that real quickly for you, see if you can just get an idea. I hope it.
Apple, ant, cat. One more time.
apple, ant, cat.
Good.
And then it slowly goes back. It's very smooth.
Ready? Let's read.
Apple,
Bag, ant,
One more time.
bag, ant, Good.
We'll stop. This gets very challenging when you have 2-syllable or 3-syllable words. Elephant, elephant, It becomes a real challenge for the students and you. But you can do it without the music. Start slow, practice it. Elephant, what, egg or whatever, right? Start slow, work up and practice, and then use the video. All these videos are included as well as the audio, so you have both things. All right. Once the kids basically get the concepts of, okay, I know the sounds, I know where the sounds are in the word, I can say everything together. Now we want to teach them how to write this new symbol. Now, writing in English and writing in Hangul are very different, just like Japanese actually, or Chinese. You write in a box. And you cannot touch these lines. That's a big no-no. You're not supposed to touch the lines of the box when you write. It's about balance. Right? It's about a balance. Well, English is exactly the opposite. You have to touch the lines. If you don't touch the lines, you're a bad girl. So, basically, English has 4 lines, right? Right? There's a top line, there's the base line, and then these middle ones. And so I spend a lot of time on this in the first couple weeks. And I said, we have 4 lines. All the letters you will ever learn in your lifetime will touch line 3 and line 2. Everything will at least touch those. Right? But this is the bottom one. That's the baseline, so to speak. And every letter you will ever learn, except for I, T, and J, is going to be one of these 3 shapes. It's either going to be between 2 and 3, between 1 and 3, or between 2 and 4. Make sure they understand that. So when they learn a new letter, where is it? Oh, it's this one. A. P, where is it? Oh, it's this one. P. B, where is it? Here. So they understand the concept. Oh, and by the way, all the big letters, 1 to 3. 1 to 3, no problem. And so we're trying to be really clear about that. We use fingers to trace. You can use whiteboards. You can really use anything you want. I'll do a quick example here. Which one's the good one? For example, the letter A. In the beginning, I'll start out. Is that okay? No. Is that okay? No. Is that okay? No. Is that okay? No. Good. Is that okay? No. Is this okay? Relatively. Almost okay. All right, so the point is you pointing out, what mistakes do my students make? Do they sometimes not touch the line? Do they write it too high? Do they write it too big? Do they write it too low with a tail or too high? So you show them possible mistakes. And then when they actually write, here, right here, you'll see a dot shows them where to start. There's dots still there. They practice. Then there's another one to trace to make sure they're getting it right, not too small. And here's a couple more dots and then one more. And then we do the same thing here, but we take away the dots. So again, increasing the challenge. Each time we want to take something away, challenge them just a little bit more. Also, stroke order, we don't put in 1, 2. Well, you put your pencil on the page. You go up, touch, down, touch, up, stop, down, stop, A, A. Now, some people like to teach this, 1, 2. But what happens is you end up with C, L. Or you end up with D. So I think the best advice I've learned from my experience in teaching is to make sure they put that pencil on the paper and they go all the way through till they're done, if they can, Obviously, you can't with like T or I. And then also with the uppercase letters, I don't give them everything. This is 1. This is 2. Figure it out. Thinking, making them think. And if they have a question, you say, oh, just tell them. What do you think? This? Yeah, good job. Right? Now when we go into the, that was the activity there. We go into the, after each unit, after unit 1, we have a practice section. It's 4 pages long. We review all of the concepts, the sounds, and then we do all the writing again. By the way, there are no lines here. No lines. They have to go back and use the book to reference. This is 30 and 31. Page 30 and 31. And then we start an activity section which challenges them again. I asked myself, what are the most difficult challenges students have in learning phonics and learning to write? So I identified about 14 different activities, 14 things that would help students. First one is the concept of big letters and little letters, which is very difficult. The second one is the concept of different fonts. English has 2 versions of the letter A. So at the bottom of these pages, you'll notice there's all types of fonts. So the children get used to that very early. And here they have to recognize the letter A. And then I said, well, there's some sounds we learn happen in the beginning. Egg, on. Some sounds we learn happen in the middle. Cat, bed. And I'll show you some more in a minute. So after 3 pages of that, we start the next unit. Okay? This is the order in books 1 and 2. A, E, I, O, U, short vowels. B, K are tall letters. P and G are low letters. And C is the same as the vowels. They're medial letters. So right from Unit 2, we can teach them all the different types of possible letters. Also, we talked before, the voice, unvoiced. B, P, G, K, K, D, T, V, F, Z, S. So all these are the voiced, unvoiced pairs to start the book. Then later, similar sounds like and n, and then the rest of them. Okay? In books 3 and 4, we use digraphs and trigraphs and diphthongs. So OW, TH, SH, stuff like that. This is the activities unit for Unit 2. Again, we focus on tall letters, low letters, as well as G having the strange font. Okay, of course. Then we show them how to blend sounds together immediately from Unit 2. Ig, word families. Some books use word families. We just teach it. It's a skill. Don't have to teach a word family personally. Just write a bunch of words on the board if you want, your teachers. Right? Egg, ag, ag. And then the first word they learn to read and write is up, up. And when you do up and they go like this, up, and they write up, and they're like, congratulations. You've just written your first word in English. Oh, and that's cool. Emphasize the high and low letters here. This is very difficult for them. It's not a ped, it's a bed. So sometimes this takes teacher assistance in the beginning. But the great thing, oh, by the way, this bit down here, that teaches word shape, like sight word reading skills. Eventually they'll start seeing shapes. So we introduced that quite early. This is the story section after Unit 2. We say, hey, you remember this word? Up, 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 up. It's a chant again. Up, 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 up. K, up, cup, cup, cup. Right? So we try to create the word families with this. And then we've got ig and ag. We've got double consonants, which we talk double same consonants we focus on. GG, CK, SS, PP. All of them in the first book. They're not difficult to understand. It's the same sound. It's just 2 times. Okay? It also helps later because sometimes students are they learn a digraph like TH or SH and like, why? Why are there 2 letters? Well, they do this book and they realize, oh, sometimes it happens. GG or PP. So it's not a difficult concept to understand later. Then we check their meaning. Do they understand? There's a dictionary if they don't. And then we have the first story. The first story has 18 words, 10 letters. A, E, I, O, U, B, P, G, C, K. Only 10 letters in the whole story. So we want them reading right away. That's the point. And then they're like, they learn one sight word. We tell students, just remember this one. This isn't, this is a, or an. Remember, don't teach the grammar if you don't want to. Just that this is the word. A bag. A big bag. An egg. A big egg. Kick a big egg. A cup, a big cup. I forgot that one. An egg up, an egg cup. Which is a joke. Many of the stories are quite funny. Then, of course, we have the last story in book 2, which is 125 words. And so after about, depending how long your classes are, how many books you use in a year, was basically designed to get them from the beginning, knowing some vocabulary, knowing some words, developing more vocabulary, developing phonemic awareness, help them understand the connection between phonemes and graphemes of English, and then putting in a reader, starting very easy, 10 letters, right? So immediately they can start to become successful. Instead of giving them a text which has all the alphabet and they look at it like, huh? It starts them in the right direction. They start feeling confident and they start wanting to learn how to read.